guys. Is that Danny? Hi. Hi. I'm so happy you guys joined us tonight. So I hope y'all are interactive with asking questions and stuff. But we're just waiting. Hey boo. Danny all the way from Cali. It's so nice to see you. I'm just waiting for Kaylin and Bika to join. I'm going to turn my light down because I feel like I am super bright. How's everybody on this thirsty Thursday?
Hey,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm
Good.
good. I'm good.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for
They,
tuning in.
I know they are slowly trickling in. I am. I'm just looking. I've got my questions here with me, Kaylin.
Yes, I got my notes too.
So I'm just trying to find where I wrote them down to. But how was your night?
Good. Yeah, good. It was quiet. Yeah, good.
Okay, that's good.
I've got
All right, I see Ambika just came in.
okay. Yeah, I got the a case of the man cold in the house. So
A
I'm
case of
at his
what?
back and cold. Man cold. I call it the man cold when
Oh,
he's sick. You know, when
the,
they're sick,
oh,
the dawn and out, the
God.
dawn and out,
Listen,
the dawn and out. They're
listen.
going through it,
Li-
going through it. I'm like, I was sick 2 days ago. Nobody,
they
noticed.
don't even check on you. They don't even check on
Nobody
you.
noticed.
You be sick and it's like, yo, can
Yeah.
I get something to drink? You
Water.
know,
God.
something.
Mm-mm.
Girl, I can recall being sick once and like, I'm like, nobody's gonna bring me no soup or nothing. Like,
Mm-mm.
I gotta get on the phone and text this to my husband. Like, you wanna
Oh,
feed me?
yeah. Hi, Amika.
Night, guys. I just
Hi,
said night.
girl.
You guys
What's
were talking.
going on?
Hi. Nothing much. Trying to
That's
stay up.
Yeah.
don't do that. Don't do that.
Listen, when you hit a certain
Until I make it till
age,
10.
9 o'clock is 12.
I'm way past my bedtime. It's given 7:30 or 8. And I'm
Wow. So
That's
you're
good.
an early
hilarious.
riser then.
Just over insomnia. I am an early riser, but
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm her. I made it.
You made it.
Yeah, we got some people in these spot already, so that's always a good thing.
Yes.
People are
Yes.
on time,
Yes.
not
Filtering in,
BPT.
come on in.
I know this is definitely this is I don't know if this is like mature or what. I don't know if it could be the subject. I don't know what it is. But anyway, they are here.
They know
Mm-hmm.
how to make
They are
time.
coming.
Bermudians make time. I know
Do
what you
they?
heard.
Because I definitely don't make time. I'm not yeah.
It depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Not really. Not really. But anyway, so this is our first talk show, and I'm so happy that to have you guys
Hmm.
here
Happy to be
um,
here.
on our second platform, um,
Yes.
and we're gonna make this work, you know, with the dilemma.
Mm-hmm. Technical difficulties,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'm so glad we actually tried to do the practice last night.
Right, because
Hmm.
had we not, you would not have known it
Yeah.
until the 11th hour. So it worked out exactly how it was supposed to.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know.
Exactly. So I am happy that we did that. Um, and so I don't want to waste any time. I definitely want to kind of like jump right into it because this is what the people are here for, right?
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm so happy to have each and every single one of you here with us tonight. Feel free to drop us a question. Um, if someone wants to be a moderator for me, then hit me up. Actually, I think I might make Danielle the moderator, even though she didn't even ask. So I'll do that later. Um, but yeah, Bermuda's dating pool. What's
Mm.
what's you Plus, I mean, I know I'm married, as y'all know, and I
Mm-hmm.
am not in the dating world as of 2025 or like for a very long time. But Danielle saying, well, um, it's hard in Bermuda.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, cesspool. Dating pool is a cesspool.
Yeah.
It is
One
that's it's that
one person said that it's like going through the sale rack, like after everyone's been through it, it's like what's
Absolutely.
left type of
that's
rummage, you know.
such a good analogy.
Absolutely.
What's left. Yeah. Unfortunately. But then equally there are still some good jams out there. So
Absolutely.
What,
it's like how do you lift through the mess and get to the jams?
I, I think
Kind of like a thrift store. Like when you go to the thrift store,
I
there's
never
some
lose at
things
the
in there
thrift
you're
store,
just
so let's
like,
make a different
uh,
comparison.
do
it's
that.
I
overwhelming,
I
just
mean,
like the dating pool. Looks a
her
bit, yeah.
her
How long has
her
that
name
been
is
there?
Thrift Queen.
But then you find a jam, you find, a Sicily dress, or you find a sash trench coat, and you're like, oh my gosh, or Dolce and Gabbana dress, and you're like, oh my gosh, can't believe somebody threw that away.
hmm hmm
So that's indicative of the dating pool, sifting through
Right.
everything.
And I think that's how people feel all over
Mm-hmm.
Globally,
worldwide.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see anything and people saying anything different online.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you get to Bermuda
Mm-hmm. Unique
and it's
challenges.
like it's get her. So earlier we had the conversation of people um you end up dating close friends, your
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend's ex,
Mm-hmm.
your cousin's ex. Um, it all can get pretty muddy
Mm-hmm.
hmm
because of
Mark.
Bermuda being so small,
Yeah.
and which then limits your chances of actually finding that forever guy, right? But like what's your last stands on like dating a friend's ex or your child's godpa or
For me personally, it's an absolute no. It's no way. It's just there's enough men out there in Bermuda to find another. Um, yeah, I don't like the idea of using the bathroom where you sleep. I just it's never been a thing of mine. I'm not even once I meet the homie, once I meet the cousin, the family, what's up, bro? It would never be that. You could never cross
hmm
those lines with me because boundaries are in place way before we even get there. So for me, it's a no. It's a no. I
Agree.
have the opinion that men are like buses. Miss one, next
I told my
15,
son
another
that
one's
earlier when it
coming.
comes to a female. I said that, females are like buses. Every
Yeah.
15 minutes, another one's
Next
coming.
15, another one's coming. A man is one of the easiest things to get. A good man, no, that's different. But a man is one of the easiest things to get. So for me, it's like
Absolutely.
I would pass on it. That's just my opinion.
so I so Ambika, I actually agree with you like saying that to my children
Hmm.
because I do think the dynamics change as we get older. But then I often question like, do they actually change or are we better at noticing the red flags or knowing what we want? And so that just kind of like lessens our chances as we get older.
I think that you do have to be realistic as you get older. Your options do slim, and I know I can say for me personally, had I made better relationship choices or even better growth choices, in my past, I probably would be in a committed relationship or marriage
Mm,
now. So that's just something that comes with learning, you know,
yeah.
either through myself or others. And I believe I want to say the average person, as you get older, you start to weed out some things because one of the things that I know the average woman can agree to is that the reason, our innate trait and the reason why we are, givers of life is because that heart of ours, our greatest strength is also our biggest weakness.
Weakness,
And
already.
women, I'm sure probably every woman, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I wish my daughter was a 13-year-old with a male anatomy, because just seeing how we are with our heart, we tend to fall in love with potential, date potential, try to love someone into becoming better, rehabilitation center for damaged and broken men, and there's so much to unpack there. So that's a whole another topic, for a later date. But just at the surface, I think that
But why do we
as we
do
get
that though?
older, because we love, because that's who we are. We are love.
Why do
And
we do
being
that? Why do we think we could fix them?
Yeah.
because that's right. We are so, we're just so, yeah, beautifully stupid at
Yeah.
times. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because,
Yeah.
at some point you do have to take off the dunce hat and just say, you know what? And I told somebody the other day on Sunday that you have to, especially women, we have to stop looking for the good in people, and stop giving people the benefit of the doubt. And basically, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Trust a liar to lie, a traitor to betray you, a thief to steal, and I said a snake to bite. And he said, oh, I had a snake. I had one for 4 years, and it hadn't bitten me. I said, because you had it for 4 years. Give it another year or two or three. But in its natural habitat, it will do what it
Yeah.
does. You know what I mean? So I think that as we get older, we just realize, you may have time to ignore red flags in your 20s, maybe even in your 30s. But
Yeah.
now, that red flag is just glaring, and you're like, oh no, I can't do this carnival thing. It's not going to work out, So I think that as we get older, our tolerance becomes a lot lower, because we've seen pretty much all of it. And I think it's also reasonable to expect that as you get older, your options do decrease, and so they should.
Yeah.
Because obviously, what we had access to in our 20s and 30s, now we're middle aged, can't speak for Kaling, but I know I am, right? And Duns, that we're not going to have access. I mean, she's married, so she's straight. You two straight, right? But I know that we're not going to have access to the options that we had
Yeah.
in our 20s and 30s. A lot of people are married, married and single, single and married. You know what I mean? Incarcerated, deceased. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people have gone to the other side, where they prefer their own gender. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So it's just so many
Things to
reasons,
fix.
a myriad of reasons as to why we have less options now.
Yeah.
Once you may have had 20 in your 20s or 30, and then went on to 20 in your, 30 in your 20s, maybe 20 in your 30s, and now you might have access to 15 and maybe even 10 available. But then, as we, as we say it, when it comes to just rifling through the clearance rack, oh, this is what's left after everyone's been here, and the Black Friday sales is three pieces of three garments left, right? That what's available, is it really of substance?
Yeah.
And I
And
feel,
I think
okay,
also too, experience plays a huge
mhm,
part in it.
mhm,
Once bitten, twice shy. A lot of people
absolutely.
have had negative experiences. So, yeah, the more you experience something, the quicker you're able to see the red flags in a person. Like, oh, I'm seeing this before. I'm not even
Right.
going to go down that road. So, I think experience should play a part in you being able to identify those red flags. And I think if it's not playing a part in it, then are you just getting older or are you growing in wisdom? Because then that's a huge problem in itself. You should be growing in wisdom. You should be able to spot the red flags. When you're young, you're naive. You believe everything he's saying to
Or you
you
want to
is going to make you a
believe it.
superstar or whatever the
Hmm.
case, whatever nonsense he's
Right.
telling you.
Yeah.
And then when you get older, you're like, maybe you've had a few broken hearts. You're like, okay, I'm seeing this before. This is gaslighting.
Manipulate
Okay,
someone else.
you recognize the signs, and so I think if people aren't working on themselves, men and females, you're seeing that it's a lot of fluff and it's nothing behind it. So that's why a lot of people are single, because it's like nobody's coming with that substance in a
Hmm.
relationship. No one's actually doing the work on themselves to say,
Right.
okay, I'm gonna let my yes mean yes. I told her I was gonna show up at this time, so regardless whether I'm gonna move some things around, I'm going to show up, or whatever the case may be. So I think people aren't doing the work on themselves. So I think it's easier to spot those red flags because you have experience.
And when you have done the work, it makes it that more difficult to
Yes.
have, to basically entertain, because you're thinking, you know what, this is, I did this and I don't want this. So it's almost like your standards become too high. Whereas before you may have allowed some things to,
Yeah.
pass, but now it's like I'm not letting anything slide, because last time I did, he became a professional skater.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So the Olympics and stuff. And then no, and then
Literally.
some women, and you can go from women and
Yeah.
men, right? They become jaded and they just shut down completely. And they're like, you know what? I don't even want to be. I mean, I have a family member who said, maybe it's just not in the books for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
So that's
yeah,
Literally.
what I'm thinking,
yeah,
like, because not always is
Of people
marriage the end
choosing to
goal.
be single.
You know, marriage isn't always the end goal, or even a relationship. Like some people.
Mm-mm.
So, one of the followers, Danielle had asked, are people trying to be in committed relationships there? And I think that's a real good
that's a good
question,
question.
um, because there's so many situationships in Bermuda.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
And as
so
you say it,
I think women
you think
as
that's
a
sad,
whole,
Ambika?
absolutely,
I
because
think
that's not
women
the
as
end
a
goal.
whole, we've dropped our standards. So for every woman that won't, there's two that will.
Make it
So
seven.
it's so many other women that will accept bare minimum. I remember when I was in a dating pool, just to get somebody to not offer to take me to their house and watch a movie. I have a TV, flat screen TV, 50-inch at home. Why do I need to come to your house to watch a movie? I want to get to know you in a coffee spot. I don't know you like that. I don't want to be in your home. I don't know you like that.
Absolutely.
I just want to have a first time date, get to know you, and then if we hit it off, we can continue talking. I want to, you know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of us, and I've been guilty of it, have dropped our standards and allowed them to do it and say whatever. And so they are allowed to have such minimal standards, and it's to the point where they don't even recognize it. When I'm saying, oh, you haven't even asked me out on a date, and you're like, oh well, I'm just trying to get to know you, so that means you don't ask me on a date. So that means I come to your house. When did we decide that that's less informal? Like, I'm
I
sorry.
think
Like,
I think a
when
lot
did
of
we decide that that's
I
normal?
think a lot of stuff. I just feel like we've really lost the plot as a people. Obviously I can't speak for the other race, but it seems that there's a lot of cart before the horse. What seems to be the
Mm-hmm.
grace nowadays, and not meant to. This is not meant to offend anyone, but just what I see is that there's a lot of celebration of
Baby showers,
there's a lot of gender reveals, there's a lot of maternity shoots, there's a lot of baby showers, but there's a significant decline in engagement parties
Marriage.
and hen nights and
Yeah.
bachelor parties and weddings.
Yeah.
So the bar has been set really, really low for men because they always leave with the shirt
Yeah.
on their back and their uh suitcase and golf bag, and they leave and they do whatever serves them best because we're in a patriarchal society and they have been taught to do them,
Mm-hmm.
and they have been taught that they are the superior,
which is
you
Mm-hmm.
know,
fucked up,
and
you guys.
it's not sustainable, which is why I no longer sustain to it. Colossal shit show, excuse my French, but I refuse because I cannot be superwoman and then turn around and parent and be a woman and be self-employed or employee. I cannot wear all of these hats anymore. I'm not an
Yeah.
And I
octopus.
don't
Two
want
hands,
to.
two feet.
I don't want
I
to
hate
wear a
not at
man's
all.
hat. I
No
do not
interest.
wear. I listen. When I got with my man, I was so happy because I was a single mother for so many years.
Yeah.
I was so happy for someone else to have to make the decisions. You
Absolutely.
are the family head. It's on you. I'm not. I can be consulted, but you have the final decision. Like, I don't want that role. I don't want that role. I want somebody who I can submit to and I can trust that their
I think
decision
when
is going to
naturally we
be,
want to be soft,
yeah.
right? We're naturally we're
They've made us so
mm,
hard to.
they
you
unfortunately
know
yes, they
yeah,
do.
yeah, and it's not, I believe that it's society on a hill because this was the design, because when you go back to our ancestors time and the fact that we've come so far, as far as we couldn't work, we couldn't vote, so just those basic essential rights women didn't have. So we've come so far, but what's happened is you want a traditional woman with modern benefits, and you see, a lot of men still want that traditional aspect of a
So we
woman,
have a
but still
comment
expect.
from a guy here.
Mhm.
I know there's
I
a
noticed that
lot of
guys have
questions.
taken
Comments
full
I was going to Jenny
advantage of the no
absolutely.
hard work mentality when it comes to dating a woman. Yeah, absolutely.
What
Absolutely.
he said, I
So
noticed that guys have taken full advantage of the
Yes,
no
yes.
hard work mentality
Yeah.
when it comes to dating a woman.
Mm-hmm,
This
mm-hmm.
is coming from a guy that loved to date and actually get to know a lady and impress her with conversation and
Yeah.
personality.
Impressed.
And even for the man, like, I'm not saying wine and dine her from the jump, because there are women that will, literally just could be along for the ride just to have that. So I think respectfully, they should have, held back some of their, you know, resources and so to speak before they get to know the girl. You want to be whining and dining somebody that you know is of good character, because what you don't want is wine and dine
Being
and you find out
used.
she gives it up to anybody so easily.
Right.
You get what I'm trying to say? So equally they have to pace themselves and how they ration off their resources, but it needs to be a balance. It doesn't need to be a lower standard that's coming to your house, but maybe it could be, let's meet up for a coffee, something
Ice
cheap,
cream.
a $10 date. It doesn't have to be expensive. You ain't gotta buy her, a Birkin bag, so to speak, straight
But
away just to get
is
her
that
attention.
the mentality of the younger women
Very
here?
materialistic.
Not all, but I would,
Um,
yeah. But I mean, the world has changed, and just piggybacking off of what Kaylin was discussing, as far as
Danielle, I'm just going to interject. Danielle said, stay away from the guys that ask you, so what you bring to the table? She said, run.
you saying both
Okay.
points.
he's trying to find where he can shack up.
And they be asking that though.
I've never been asked
Not
that.
ever.
I've never
No.
been asked that.
I can't recall. I just know that they be asking that. I don't know who they ask, but I can't say that anybody's asked me.
Maybe they ask women that they know don't bring nothing to the table. Because I, I think like, yeah, I've never been asked that.
I don't know if someone
Stuff
would
like that is
actually
just
ask that
gaslighting.
outright. I
But the
don't know.
wondering it.
I don't know if they would ask that outright. I do think. I do think. And it's like all they want to know is, oh well, what do you do?
Mhm.
Where do you work?
I've
And
never been asked. I've never. I guess I think, mind you, the type of guys that I have dated are very high value men, so they don't care what I do. I've never been asked. I've always wanted to share. I want to go ahead and say, well, I'm a compliance officer. I used to do law, and I never got asked what I do.
well, that's really great. I think that's just not the case for everybody,
Yeah.
right? And so I was talking to a friend of mine, and he had said he had went on a date, and at the time, and he's an educated man.
Hmm.
At the time, as he was in between jobs, he was doing security work, and he went on this date with this girl, and she worked at the bank.
Hmm.
She was a teller. And he said while he was on the date, all she wanted to know is, well, where do you work? Do you have a car? What type of car do you drive? And do you have your own house?
You're
And
welcome.
then he was just like, well, where do you work? Because I feel like you're interviewing me and
Hmm.
you're judging me for what it is that I do,
Hmm.
but like you don't seem to be in any better state
Hey, than me.
that
So yeah, that's
that
rude.
I am in,
I think, yeah, I think yeah, it seems like there was some sort of judgment behind our comment, behind our
And I'm not
questioning,
saying
because
that every
the
woman does
question
it.
should flow kind of like, so what do you like to do? They should kind of flow. They shouldn't be like you're being interrogated or like you're ticking a box. Like it shouldn't be like that.
Right.
It should be a
But
tick box
I do
exercise.
think women and men are just more assertive on what it is that they want nowadays. Like nobody's biting their tongue. Nobody's like the chivalry of it. Like nobody's
Yes,
trying to be
yes.
nice about it anymore. Like
Hmm.
it's almost like it's just straight up. Like the questions to what color, what do you like, when's your birthday and all that. They don't want to know that. They just want to know, do you eat for JJ? Like, do you do this? Do you do like people are getting right to it
Yeah.
nowadays, and
Okay.
because that's what they're seeing. That's
Yeah.
what that's the misconception that they're getting.
Hmm. So
Um,
do you think we people as a whole are more shallow in their dating nowadays?
I think that as I was trying to say earlier, just piggybacking off of what you mentioned about, a just a number of women being willing to engage in situationships, is that
Mm-hmm.
as great as technology is, we have to really be cognizant of the cons of it. There's a lot of downsides to technology. And I believe that
Yeah.
one of the major reasons, why the dating has just become so nonchalant is because everyone has access now. Like
Yes.
guys are in my DMs, and I'm just like, I really want to just close down the DMs because now you're
Mm-hmm.
randomly Grand Rising queening me to death.
Mm-hmm.
But because I need my DMs for business, I cannot. And then
Mm-hmm.
people just decide that they want to send that in private mom parts pictures. Just is
Yeah.
wide open now. You know
Instant
what I mean? You see people on social
gratification.
media arguing with these celebrities like they was just out with them at the club the night before. So this access has just created this microwave
Yeah.
get rich quick scheme where it's like I can just shoot my shot to five girls at once. Grand Rising's Queen, one, two, three, four. It's all just like a template, right? And then that's on Twitter. And then you go over to Instagram. I'm shooting out a five her. And then I'm going to go over to, you know, um, TikTok and getting six more DMs. If you have four platforms and getting five DMs, that's 20 options.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to
Yeah.
bite. Somebody's going to get on the hook. And this
Yeah.
is what guys think is equivalent to putting in some effort,
Yeah.
and it just makes it that much more difficult to actually date how we used to, because we've really fallen away from the courting/traditional dating that we used to do, our ancestors and even us coming up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You may have been to sit somewhere at Old Boys Point
Mm-hmm.
with your Yamaha, with your 50, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just simple things. But now everybody wants to get right to the CUO or send you a DM and get right into the sex flicks and chill.
Yes.
They just want to bypass all of that and then want to come to the house. And then I say
Yeah.
to myself, well, it's summertime. It's a lot of stuff you can do at the beach,
Yeah.
wine and cheese, take a picnic. I'm just like, why you have to come to my house? You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Be creative.
Yeah,
So
like I
RB.
tested this guy about that one night, and I said, do you want to go out and have a drink? It's like, oh, I'm tired of getting out. I've been getting out for years now, and blah blah blah. I'm like, well, okay. I said
Yeah.
5 minutes. I said, well, I'm knocking off soon. You want to come over? Oh, to your house? He didn't get answer. I didn't respond to him until 3 days later because I just needed to figure out. Right, it's not that you didn't want to go out. You just didn't want to. You just didn't. Yeah, you would have been fine coming to my house with the the potential to possibly, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and
RB.
it's a turn off
RB
because how do you get to know
Enterprise.
people?
Somebody said, I just want to let y'all know.
Yeah.
Somebody said, you ain't lied. Drop me out of the
Yeah.
group chat.
Yeah.
They don't want to be in that. And then, um, Danielle said, the Grand Risings. Oh boy, they are definitely asking what you bring to the table.
Yeah. And then RB Enterprise, he says, I've learned that it can be very beneficial to match energy and vibes nowadays, especially on a first date or two-time frame. If you expose all of your cards early, you can make yourself too vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Hmm. So that actually leads to one of my questions. One of my questions was, do you think it's wise to pace yourself to get to the right destination?
I
Absolutely.
think you have to kiss a lot of
Mm.
frogs to get to your
Mm-hmm.
prince. I definitely, well, I mean, not all
And
of us
princess.
have to kiss a lot, but the fact that if you do have to kiss a lot of folks to get to your prince, then that's just what it is. That's your journey.
Yeah.
That's your
But I think it's so
journey.
important to pace yourself emotionally as well, because
See, I'm
once
a all in
emotion
type of
is
girl.
involved, it's like it clouds your judgment. So you do have to hold back. And a lot of people are coming into the dating pool freshly divorced, fresh out of a relationship 2 weeks ago. You may not meet somebody who's you're single and ready to completely date. You know what I mean? You're kind of meeting people at different stages when you're dating. So, for example, you could be out of a relationship for 2 years, healed, done the work on yourself, but you meet a nice guy, he's fresh out of a divorce 6 months ago. You know what I mean? So you two are gonna have a total different experience in the dating pool. He's gonna have moments where he's still thinking about his ex and you're trying to figure out what's going on. You know what I mean? It's like you have to pace yourself because you're not going to always be at the same starting point as somebody else. And that doesn't mean that they're a bad person or they're not the right person for you. It just means that they're in a different stage in entering the dating pool. So you
Define
do have to pace yourself. So I am a firm believer of, if they say it's exclusive, okay, it's exclusive. If they say I love you, okay, I love you too. I don't go faster than the person I'm dating. We're gonna go at the same pace. That
Really?
way, I don't go faster. Nope, nope,
you,
nope, nope,
And
nope,
for
nope.
you should really let a
me,
man. You should let a man lead in love. You really should let a man lead in love.
Exactly. A
You
man
have
should
really?
tell
to.
you,
Yeah, you have to
yes.
because that gauge. You have to gauge their interest, and you
You
have to
don't open up
get
emotionally until
into.
they open up
Yeah,
emotionally. Because I'm
that's
telling
what
you,
you
they're
do.
talking to five different girls, and you be the only boohoo silly fool saying, I love you. Don't ever
I
tell me I love you first.
honestly, I think, I mean, I just don't think I, I never, dated like that.
Yes. Are older men like acting like
They're
this too?
worse.
Yes.
They're worse. 10 times
The
worse. It's all
professionals.
across the board. There's no
The
aspiration dating
professionals.
tomfoolery. They really are seasoned and they're setting the
They
red,
are
so they can
professionals at the
ten
game.
times
They lay
worse.
the game, they lay the pipe,
Like
they
it's
do
like,
it all.
yeah, you're literally just leaving a war zone.
Uh-uh.
Veterans. You know, like, yo, you meet the chief and he's got all these stickers on his vest. Done level one, two, three, four, five.
Do y'all
Season.
do y'all
Uh,
think people are choosing to stay single?
Yeah.
no.
Yes.
I mean,
I do.
yes, but you're choosing to stay single because you're unwilling to settle, and the thing about it is a lot of people can be in relationships. It's easy to get into a relationship with the opposite sex. It's just what quality of relationship
You
what
want.
quality of
Yeah.
relationship do you want versus what you end up getting if you enter into a relationship with such and such a person. And I think at the core the foundation when it comes the foundation when it comes to what Kaylin was saying as far as emotions for women is the intimate piece. Because
Hmm.
when you give, for the average woman, when you give your
Yes.
body up, it's like when you cut the hair off, the rest of the body will follow. That is
Hmm.
us. That is our prized possession, and that's really our weakness. And even
Hmm.
for males, because a lot of times with these relationships, when you kiss frogs, a lot of times it's a frog,
Hmm.
but you become, and this is where now in hindsight I see the importance of, and it may not be realistic, but getting premarital sex, how much of a disadvantage it is,
Oh yeah.
because so often
Oh
we
yes.
and waiting until you get married, because so often when you are merging bodies, all sense of rationale goes out the window,
Yeah.
and that's how a lot of people end up unequally yoked, single parents, and those sorts of things. Because once you start to be intimate prematurely, you don't worry about the red flags. You just
Hmm.
go with it. So I think for women, a large part of getting to know somebody and even reading them out is standing firm on whether or not you want to be casual with somebody or get to know, are you looking for a relationship? And if you are, well, 9 times out of 10, very seldom do you do something with someone prematurely. Let's say you go on a date at the end of the night. Chances are, and it's an exception to the rule, a lot of women do end up with the guy, but a
Hmm.
lot of times they don't because men are natural hunters. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They want to know that they worked for something. And
Yeah.
of course, once they do that with you, they're not going to want to get inside your head
Yeah.
a lot of the times. You know what I mean? So I think when women, you guard your heart the most by guarding your privates. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then you
Yeah.
get
It
to know
is.
the person.
It's so
And then you
true.
also can weed them out because you can always, when you match a guy, like you said, when you move, I move just like that. If he's
Hmm.
cagey, I'm cagey. If you're slow to respond, then so be it. And then
Hmm.
if you're mirroring back their behavior, you know that they're playing games because eventually they get tired. They get tired of talking the games and running,
Hmm.
trying to run back. And if they just want one V, eventually they're gonna go back. They're gonna go on the list in the DMs, and you're like,
Yeah.
great, I dodged
And
the bullet.
I'm gonna still be true to myself. I'm
Absolutely.
still gonna be engaging. I'm still
Mhm.
gonna be funny. I'm not gonna be like, wow, because he left me on red last night when he speaks to me, I'm gonna leave him for 3 hours. I'm not gonna play those games, but I ain't getting full. I am not gonna fall on my face. You know what I mean?
So,
So
so you're saying like, so then are you're saying that people should get in relationships and just be more guarded.
not necessarily guarded. You can still be vulnerable, but you need to ensure that you're still engaging your brain and you're not making this
Flat
intimacy
decisions.
so quickly because intimacy can cloud your judgment.
Right.
Intimacy can cloud it. Post come clarity is a real thing. It's a real thing,
So you
you
have to
know.
be guarded, because if you don't guard it, what if you're not guarded and protecting yourself, then who will? Because most times the man won't. So you do have to be guarded until someone proves that you can just
It's
basically let a bit out bit by
it's
bit.
like going into a new job. When you go there, you don't tell everybody all your business, why you left your previous job, you're married. You don't tell everybody all your business.
Yeah.
You are pleasant to everyone until you find, okay, I can trust her. Oh, she runs back and talk. You pace yourself so you get to know the person who you're dealing with.
Right.
It's the same thing with men. You pace yourself so you know, okay, can I trust this person? Is he of integrity? Does he just want the cookie? You know, you have to pace yourself and answer those questions first. Then you say, okay, I can ration out different things. Just like getting into a job full of women, you got to learn who you can trust and who you can. You don't go out there sharing all your business
Yeah.
straight away.
Mhm.
But that
So
Hey,
doesn't mean you're not
comment.
Danielle
pleasant.
has
I
a
see a
blunt
comment here.
question. You
Okay.
see her blunt question? Do we have an epidemic of mama's boys in Bermuda?
We do, definitely.
Yes. Yes,
Absolutely.
I
Danny,
think so.
you know we do.
You
Yeah, she
do.
is. I don't
You
know why
do.
she's playing
Uh,
cute.
She
Nothing's
is
changed,
definitely
girl.
paying, and I've done invited her 10 times to join this conversation. You know she's declined me every time.
Force her in.
I'm
It's a real
calling her
thing.
out.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. So many women spoil their boys to a default. I'm not saying you can't reward good behavior, but I just think don't spoil them to a default
I kind of
where it's no
feel like it's a
longer
part. I don't
serving
even think it's
them.
just a Bermudian thing. I kind of think it might be a black. I feel like it's a black mother and son thing.
Or
You know,
just
I can't.
period. It
And
could be just
why is
Like,
it
period with
just
single
black though?
mothers or,
well,
What
of course,
and as I
any
said,
race.
as I said early in the conversation, I can only speak for what I know. It could be across the board, but I know that what happens is they raise, and what I've seen in Bermuda, we tend to raise the females and cuddle the males. But I think it also goes back to how males have actually been taught to be
Hmm.
needy and been taught that they should rely on women.
I
You know
You know
what I
what I
you
mean?
think
think
it
they're
is?
finding
I
that
think a
example
lot
from
of
their
our
single women,
homes
the single
are
We
mothers?
can
they're
only do
single mothers. I
say
think
it again.
that's the issue. I think the issue
They're
is that a
they
lot of our
are
families are single mothers
understanding
and
that
the
because
father
of
isn't present to teach them how to be a
That's
man.
right.
So you
that's
have
what
so
that is,
many
but not the
women
only reason.
you have so many women raising boys to be man and listen, women were amazing, but a boy still needs his father. You get what I'm trying to say? So I feel
No,
like a lot of the times we're softer on our boys because we're mom, and it's a place for that, but it's also a place for a man to raise a boy.
but let me just say this. So like she asked other Bermuda boys, mama's boys. So like I've dated men in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And when I make that comparison, it is a vast difference to how Bermudian men act
Mm-hmm.
to how Americans act. Because I've never dated
We are a
outside of.
lot more though. I think what also comes is our economy, our standard
Absolutely.
of living is a whole
They
lot higher than
play, there's a
US.
all contributing factors.
Yeah.
I will give them that. Um, they're all contributing factors. But there's something about the men that are in the States, and obviously not all of them, but the men that
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I encountered, like they are groomed
Mm-hmm.
to
Like,
make it on their own.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's beautiful.
it is, you cannot stay here.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get your education or a
Mm-hmm.
job, or
trades,
like you
something
you
trades, yeah.
you cannot stay here. And then I remember coming back home, and it was like I had to wrap my head around that most of these men live with their
Oh my
mamas.
gosh. Can you imagine? And you lay there in the bed, honey, your laundry's right. I would.
Washing their
Can you
clothes.
imagine? I would die. I would
Like
die.
I
you
remember
I
know,
my
woke
ex
up.
girl. She literally had to get, I think, Ace Boy's mom woke her up like 3:41. Was like, "You have to go." She had to ride in.
No,
No,
no
yeah,
way.
nobody would really walk of shame to the bathroom or try to not use the
What?
bathroom until, like, basically losing your whole bladder because you don't want to walk past the mom's room.
What?
Nobody's got time for that.
She made
Yeah, it's
her go home?
crazy. What?
Why?
Why? What?
Because he
Why?
stays with his mammy, and she did not want any
Why?
sleepovers.
It's like what? Why are young men staying at home forever? I understand staying at home to save money, but at what point have you saved enough money to leave? What point? So
Be-
many young men are in this situation. So many young men.
or let me tell you what else is happening in Bermuda. What's very common? It's, oh, I'm on the mortgage. This is my house too.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
it would be.
I would, for me, it would be like, okay, well, when you can
Absolutely. But
afford
the thing
both
is,
mortgages, let me know because I'm not going to be the second woman in nobody else's home. You know what I mean? Like, it's not,
oh,
you're
I
not
know
doing that.
exactly what you mean.
Like, I don't know. I don't know.
That sounded
I
like
know.
Or
practice. See, look at the eyes.
I don't know, can mom be in the
I'm not
one
sharing
bedroom
the
apartment
kitchen.
adjacent or something? Like, can we move into the main house and mom's in the one bedroom apartment? That's fine. But
Absolutely. We could do that.
uh, yeah, wow. Yeah,
Like you said,
so
they're not
many
being prepared
men.
with the life skills to go out on their
Mhm.
own, and it could, a lot of the times be have something to do with the father being absent, the mother being a single parent. There's a lot of latchkey kids where mom's working 2, 3 jobs, so she doesn't even have the time to really raise the child. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So there's life skills and maybe just being in different activities and things like that, and having access to different resources is not an option because the mom is stretched thin and cannot
Hmm.
provide that, because the foundation to move on your own,
It's
it
not
comes
there.
from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Danielle said,
there's
are the
some
men
just
spoiled enough whereas they don't have to work because we just give?
some guys are driving their girlfriend's car every day with putting $10 gas in it. So probably yeah. I'm seeing it. $7 on pump three. All right,
Look,
dude.
listen, 8:30 dropping them to work is crazy.
Go and get the side girl.
But you know what?
Creeping all
But
around
you
or go
know
to the
what? I
PlayStation
can
and get
only
toys.
speak on it because I've been that person.
Of
I've been that
course.
person where he was dropping me off. I was paying all the bills in the house. I've been that person. I have
Well,
been
hi,
there.
Stella. Look who decided to join the
Listen,
conversation.
listen,
Hi,
listen.
dude.
Because
Happy New Year and
listen,
all that good
I
stuff.
got my dynasty look
Preach
on,
it. Preach.
right? It's raining out here. I ain't got no makeup on. The eyebrows ain't right.
That's
But
all right.
listen, you always
It's
having a
still
healthy
giving.
conversation.
God.
So I said, let me put my red on and
Get in there,
enter the
girl.
dance. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hurt. I'm scared. And Doctor's been fucking
Let me go
harassing
get
me,
my glass of wine.
sending me all these clicks talk about request denied, request. I said, bitch, I'm ugly. What do you want me to do right now?
Listen,
But you guys
you
are
know,
having such a healthy conversation, and I'm
Oh.
been I'm been away so long, but it sounds like ain't shit motherfucking
Mm-mm.
changed.
Mm-mm.
not
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 at all,
much.
Jenny.
That
Not much.
seriously, I mean, I'm not even out there, right? But just based on what, how come it says you're unable to join? I don't know why. I just got that notification. Anyway, calling me. Um, y'all hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. Danny, do you hear me? Is she frozen?
She
I think I think Danielle's frozen. Tag me in. Okay. Hold on, Danny.
Got my wine.
You got your wine.
Okay, please forgive me. California's also raining a lot, which we don't do, and the weather ain't right.
But isn't
Like
that
so,
good for you
it
guys right
is
now?
because
It's
we
been,
have
yeah.
been like drowning in fires. So yeah, Grand
Good.
Rising, praise be to the gods, right?
Grand
I
Rising.
Grand
died
Rising
when you said
Queen.
that. I said,
Grand
listen,
Rising Queen.
Rising. But don't block your blessings, you guys. That could be your blessing. That could be your man. You never know. Grand
we
Rising
can.
Queen.
It ain't
If
nothing
you
I can do
can't come up
that.
with anything original, it's giving you confused your and yours. So I'm okay.
Like the minute
So I
you
got a
say
little bit
that
more
to me, I
original than
already
that.
know what
What you're
level set
on.
we're on, and we
But
can.
it's
You know what I'm
crazy. You
saying?
guys are saying that, right? But honest to God, like, I mean, I know, so Kev and I have been together for 14, 15 years. 15 years this year. Yo, he would, hey, good
Beautiful.
morning, beautiful me to death, yo. That
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
shit
good.
works.
You
No, good
know what
Lord,
the
beautiful
difference
and all
is?
that.
There's no follow up. There's no substance.
Okay.
It's a lot of
There's
fluff.
no
Because if you're gonna
intention.
keep
It's not
saying that,
genuine.
yeah, like this guy said, and I'm like, bro, I sent him all these screenshots. I said, you have been doing this for the last 6 months.
What
What you do?
else
Have a
can
good
you
day. You're like,
say?
you have not been responded to. What do
Yeah.
you want? Like, let's have a conversation. Because I'm gonna say bisexual.
Yeah.
Like, talk about something.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Trump's orange hair. There's so
Yeah.
many things to talk about. But
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
gonna keep saying Grand Rising
Right,
and WYD and all this, no, that
right.
means that you have either no, you cannot
Hold a conversation.
have a conversation or you
Right.
don't want to. You're just gonna
Yeah.
wonder maybe if I say Grand Rise is enough, the bottom half of her outfit's gonna fold on, and then zoom, I just
It's
slide right
crazy.
in. You know what I
It's
mean? So
crazy.
Like
that's the
I was
difference.
telling some people about how man can actually get women if they understand that we talk and we
Mm-hmm.
talk and we communicate and we over communicate. Like my husband got me not because he laid the pipe because he did, but literally he would call me and talk all the time. Like, and mind you, he's a
Yeah,
quiet guy, but he would just like let me ramble, get engaged. He was so engaged in my intellect and what I would talk about and new ideas and stuff like that. So it just became a normal. So now, like if I don't talk to him, it's like, oh, you ain't got nothing to say. Like, let me take a break. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
is, I think, if they understood how we operate as females, even if they
It
have to
would be
lie
so
to
much
us, it'll be
easier.
so much easier. Just
Every
have a
I didn't know you had to
conversation.
time,
lie.
every
and
time, I kid you not, every time me and Leon have had a deep conversation before we've done the deed has been so much better.
it's
I
very
mean,
So many stories.
so
sexy
much better.
man that can that can have a conversation and actually want to
We
engage with you.
love
It's so
conversation.
sexy,
Because
and
the
that's how my
stimulation, and it's not all women.
Yeah.
I have a friend who is just now coming into a relationship because she changed her stimuli. So before it was she was only stimulated vaginally,
Mm-hmm.
right? So she was on a date and she was like, I got there, and 3 minutes into the conversation, I was like, my vagina's not jumping, so I'm not really getting. I told him we
Mm-hmm.
can't talk, and I was like, yo, for real, like you didn't want to have see what was on his chest, how his day went. She was like, nah, it didn't stimulate my stuff didn't jump, and I
Wow.
said to myself, well, no wonder you're fucking single for
Mm-hmm.
like ever because you're not understanding both of those are different stimulations,
it will
Yeah.
and
come
so
naturally.
yeah,
And
you
will
can get
come.
anybody to make it
Will
From a child.
come.
jump,
It'll
Mm.
but you
come.
need
Anybody?
yeah. Well, we're not gonna
It will
get
come.
on that way, right?
Who said
So what about
anybody?
this question?
Okay, ahead.
How can understanding that every man you meet is not the man you're going to marry? How can women manage the expectations and not have the fairy tale story in the mind?
Well, I feel like it's that, and maybe I'm coming from her times, but I feel like it's pretty that women think about relationships and fairy tales because that's some shit I was not thinking about when I was like rhyming and priming. You know what I'm saying? I was I was sitting her
But
listening
at
to you
this
guys.
age, Danny, at
Oh,
this
right.
age.
But not
I got
only that though, not even age thing, because I feel like I was a blonde girl. This was me. I
okay.
was the person that, oh my God, I met a really nice guy today.
Oh,
He seems so nice.
Kiss the
I
one.
can't wait. I just want to be with him. He's the
oh,
one. I just know he is. And my friends just be like, girl, like, you don't even know this man. Why are you getting so wrapped up immediately? Only 2 weeks later, he ended up to being a dog. You know what I mean?
oh.
Like, pace your
Bring it again.
emotions.
Tom,
Just get to know him.
Tom,
Why
Like
are you jumping
Tom.
down his
Pace.
throat?
Yeah, come
I already
on.
know,
He's not your
Steve.
husband. He is Bob that works across the street from you.
But
You
you're
don't
a
know
good,
this
But it's
but you're
man.
a
nothing
good
wrong with
girl.
playing to win.
You
And
give
some
off
of us are
good
playing
girl
to
vibes.
win.
Like you're a good girl. You know what I mean? So these streets probably would have ate you alive
All the
anyway.
time.
So
I'm telling you,
right,
all the time.
Like
I've never
40
not had a
times.
broken heart.
right. Like and see, so it's like, and again, it's totally different personalities, different vibes, different energies, right? So like three or four of us were probably like would have ate the streets, and then you would
Yeah,
have, we
yeah.
would have had you on our side and been like,
You know what my
you know,
best friend
Sarah,
used to
what are
say to
you
me?
doing,
You know
right?
He likes him a little
my best
dogged,
friend used to
sluggish
say to
Brandon.
me? She
What?
said, "You meet," and when she broke it down to me like this, I was like, "Wow." She was like, "You meet somebody and you think, why would they lie to me?" And I meet somebody and I think, why
Like
would
to
I
tell me the
trust
truth.
them?
Mm.
Why would what?
Why would I trust them? I don't know them.
Mm,
And I look at it like, I don't know them. Why would they lie to me? And it's like they're both two
Right.
perspectives, but they're totally, completely different
With
approaches.
different outcomes. Mm.
Totally
yeah.
different
I
approaches.
Yeah.
I actually think I got guys because I wasn't on the quest to get guys. Like that was never my focal point.
Yeah.
Like my focal point was always survival, always how I'm gonna get this, or how I'm gonna move up, how I'm gonna do this. And
Mm-hmm.
I know I have friends like how you're saying that the dating world was definitely a driver.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just locked out by, and then I, like I said, I always have attracted alphas. So they
Mm.
You mute.
Did you mute yourself?
Danny. And look, she's just going on and on. Danny, you're mute.
rambling in. I
Yes.
don't
Yeah,
even,
We couldn't
I
hear
had a whole
you.
sermon
and let me
there,
tell you,
and
I don't
none
even
of us
remember what
heard
I was
you.
saying. So next,
I'm done. Going. Hand
but let
gestures.
me tell
I'm
you,
like,
it
what
was
did she
real
say?
philosophical, and it would have been even better if I had on makeup. I
Yeah.
swear to God.
Mm-mm-mm.
Anyway, so
Yo.
yeah, no, just by you being, I mean, I just didn't have the focal point of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about them. And let
Mm-hmm.
me say this: I always thought any guy that came after me was like lying, was a liar. Like, you don't
Mm-hmm.
like me. Get out of my face. Like, what are you talking about? So
And
I
I
never
was
took
the
anybody
Renegade.
serious.
opposite though. I was falling for them all.
I know. Remember those days?
I was falling. I'm telling you, and you know what it is? Like I just think my whole approach to life is
Mm-hmm.
different.
Mm.
So not having losing my mom at such a young age
Mm-hmm.
for me, time was approached a lot different than my peers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, when you lose a mother at such a young age or at any age, you tend to think that that's going to be your destiny too. So for
Mm-hmm. Really?
me, I was like, oh, I got until this age to do
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
to do what it is that I need to do. And that whole YOLO, I think I I think I was YOLOing
To the
Mm-hmm.
my
wheels fell off.
yes, because the
Right.
time was short. That's so like when Kaylin, you talk about you're like, well, why would they lie to me?
Mm-hmm.
That was me.
Yeah.
Why would they lie to me? And you know what? Like, I was just so naive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Me
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
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 And
You
it's,
want
I
to
think
think
also
through it.
too, it was my upbringing as well because I came from a two-parent family and my parents have been married my whole life. So, and then I'm going and I'm engaging with men that they only was raised by the mother or the father's in jail and the father used to beat, the mother. So they're like total different life experience to me. So I feel like a lot of the times when I was dating, I was just not that you have to be aligned with somebody that has a similar upbringing as you, but I think it
It
helps.
helps. It
It
does.
helps in just the understanding,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what I mean. It's
Mm-hmm.
like where I was raised in a family where we
Some
all
people are
shared
raised
our
on love and some are
our
raised on
feelings.
survival.
At the end of the day, we
Survival.
sat to the dinner table,
Survival.
was so close to this day, and
Survival.
I was dating guys who were like, I don't even know who my daddy is. Yeah, like I
Right.
remember one time my daddy was in Miami, and I was like, "Oh, my dad's in Miami," and they would like they made a joke like to say that he's cheating, and I was just like, "No, even never."
Yeah.
But that was just like the mindset of people that I
Yeah.
was, you know,
Yeah.
and it's just like you don't realize that your upbringing shapes everything. It
Yeah.
shapes like I remember,
Who you are.
talking to one of my
Exactly.
girlfriends, and they were just like, "Yeah, your mother says I love you so much," and my mother's not. I can probably count how many times my mother said that to me, and I took all of that for granted because it's like you don't realize your upbringings truly shape who you
That's
Oh,
are,
right.
and I think it
absolutely.
shaped my approaches to and my naivety in
Mm.
relationships.
So,
What?
do you guys only date or have only dated Bermudian man?
No, I haven't.
Well, Danny,
No.
I've been working
Yeah,
I
say we know you
for a
know you
while.
know.
lived in England for 10 years.
It's like,
Is there a difference?
I
Do you see a difference
got
when
cold.
you're dating?
No,
Culturally different?
no.
A difference?
Mm-mm. Mind you, I dated Jamaican UK, so that's another, yeah.
But your sex must have been awesome though. I ain't lying. Jesus. But
Well,
listen,
do you know what? You think that until you have batter, and then you're like, oh, okay. There
I
are
don't even
men
get
that
on
can
that
talk
bridge. I was
Jamaican.
gonna take this conversation so
Mm.
far left.
I know, Danny,
So
and this isn't
I know
Nelly
this is
Kitty Unleashed.
I know this is keep it clean. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
But
I
so
I am
I
married
got
to,
I got word on the street, Danny. I
is
got
it
word.
positive
I was
word?
told,
It ain't bad by tonight. What is it?
I was told by a single woman
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
that the young boys want the great and sexy women.
They really
Oh, for
do.
sure. For
But I
They
think
sure.
it's
do.
just for
I
a
feel
grill.
so.
It's a grill. Yeah.
don't know how to get
I
into
have
that
guys my son's
world.
age. I have guys in the mid 20s. I have guys in the mid 30s. And but to me, it's just like you just think you're just testing out if I'm a stellar. You know what I mean? So I think that yeah, like if we don't look our age.
What is the
You know what I mean? So
conversation after you're done? Like that's
they
what
want to
that's
play
the
the
only
PlayStation, maybe. I
Some
don't
of
know.
these little boys are mature.
They really
Some of
are.
these boys are
I just don't want to
mature.
take that chance because I feel like when it comes to obviously we already mature quicker than a male. So when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to
right.
somebody like this guy said to me, he was like, I actually was probably last week, 2 weeks ago on a Friday, and he said, I said, how old are you? He said, I'm 33.
That's not
Mm-hmm.
I was
bad.
like, yeah, baby to me. He was like, yeah, but he said, congratulations, you're a child. I would burp you. That's too young because and you have no children, and you
But
have
that's
no
a
children,
Mm.
challenge.
and you
You
have no
literally just
kids. So
challenged
my son's
him.
taller than you.
Uh,
You're like 4 or 5 on a good day.
uh.
It doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
because what with the age gap, you're already probably 10 years or 15 years younger. That means you're literally 3 years old to me.
See, and
Because
I don't
women
want to be a
mature
complete
quicker than
hypocrite because
men.
I've dated
The
older
Yes
men
and
majority of
no.
younger
all
men, not
Yes.
all of
my
you.
career, right? All my street career, I've dated
Not
older men,
Mm-hmm.
and like,
a
I mean,
street career.
You're longer.
I like that. I
listen,
like
but
that.
corporate street, listen,
I
corporate.
like
I
that.
cannot deal with this that are not financially whatever.
Sound.
So, right, I can't and will not. And so, and I'll confess, I mean, in my 20s, young 20s, the
Is that how
oldest
we
I
say
was.
gold diggers now?
Yes, that's
You
the
think
soft porn
so? Do
version
you
of
think I
the
was really digging for gold? Because
Listen,
I
sometimes.
I'm just
wasn't
asking the
going for
question, but I
them.
don't want to throw you off track.
I mean, but I like these conversations. But in any event, I don't
We're
want to
gonna
be a
come back to
hypocrite
that. We're gonna come back to
because
that.
I was dating older. I was maybe 22 and he was like 54,
Ooh.
right? Yeah, I like them tender,
She
Mhm.
did.
right?
Yeah, you
I'm
like
with
it
you,
Yeah,
girl.
like
I'm
from
with
But
you.
retirement.
you
she
have
Like
to
really
from
have there's
did
standards
though.
to this. Like
tender.
if you think about it, like
She
let's just
really
be.
did though. It was
That
crazy.
is cooked.
But listen, but
Well
no,
done.
let's think
Girl,
about it.
that
And
We're
it's not
not
the
even
was
know what
that
it
she
is.
cooked twice.
when we say we want a financially stable man, and when we have to really think about that, it
It's a
takes a
certain age
while.
bracket.
Yeah, it takes a while for them to get
Of
there,
course.
right?
Of
And
course.
so what we have to understand is when you apply pressure to a 40-year-old who is just getting over the hump or just getting into a mortgage, he ain't got that
Mhm.
playtime, nor does he even know how to play
Mhm.
Absolutely.
financially or physically.
Yeah.
So what? I ain't got time to waste, even in my 20s. And they were coming after me because of how I carried myself.
Mhm.